At the Winston tournament, we had accomplished defeat for the final time. A loud cheer went up for the huge crowd that had gathered to watch. "We want Arthur," someone shouted. "Arthur for king," yelled another. Then a murmur started at the back of the crowd, and the murmur grew to a rumble, and the rumble to a roar. "We want Arthur! We want Arthur! We want Arthur!" chanted the crowd, stamping their feet and drowning out the groans of a portly baron who had hauled himself onto the stone and was desperately straining to dislodge the sword. Shepherds were banging their crocks on the ground. Tinkers were clanging their pots. Children were clapping their hands. Dogs were barking, and even the archbishop found himself tapping his toes in rhythm. "We want Arthur! We want Arthur!" The uproar continued, unabated, until at last even the most stubborn knights realized that, incredible as it might seem, Arthur must be the rightful king. Row after row, people dropped to their knees and swore loyalty to Arthur and to beg his forgiveness for having delayed his succession for so long. Arthur passed among them, shaking hands, and magnanimously accepted their apologies. When the clamor finally died down, the archbishop stepped forward and announced that the king would be knighted immediately. Arthur was carried jubilantly into the cathedral, and people crammed the aisles to see the archbishop knight him with the sword from the stone. A few days later, King Arthur was crowned. Amidst much rejoicing and celebration, the new king promised to rule justly over his people, to right all the wrongs, to drive out the invaders, and to bring peace and prosperity to the troubled kingdom of Logris. After the ceremony, there was a noisy procession through the streets, with the crowds cheering him along the way. At the back of the crowd stood a mysterious, bearded figure in a long purple cloak with a hood. Arthur was unaware of him at first, but then, as if from nowhere, he heard a deep voice echoing in his head. "Many who scorn you soon will serve you. Many called friends will one day be enemies. Yours is a time of wonder, a time of triumph, a time of magic. Rule wisely, King Arthur. You are destined for eternal greatness." Arthur looked around to see where the voice had come from, but Merlin had vanished from the night.